Dusk here. Hey, bright spirits. It's been a while since I've actually made some sincere face-to-face content, so forgive me if I'm a little rusty. But I decided that to start off, we should jump right into all the topics. Everything that I'm working on inside of Gemini Pro, a lot of it is for AuroraSoul.com. All of it is for the greater good of, well, we'll just jump in and you'll find out more. Okay, so we are inside of my Gemini Pro, and I'm going to start off with just a quick scroll so you can kind of see what we're going to get into. These topics that I've highlighted recently with little icons, they include app development and, of course, good old consumable media content about pop culture subjects, some insect research for one of my other channels. This is a game that I would love to develop, and these are strategies and concepts in regards to the business. Last but not least, you have some money on the mind, and then you have good old ethical brainstorming for my own personal AI under the AuroraSoul company. Keyword: ethical brainstorming. Now, let's start at what Google had announced recently. I got an email about it, and that is new features in all the things. Let's make some room so we can see it on the screen. Hi, let me catch you up on the latest updates from I.O. I've picked up a few new ways to help you run your day and take your ideas to the next level. I've also got an email. Maybe I'll put it up separately. I don't want to get myself into future endeavors I will not fulfill, but I would like to. Email was worded differently, but it was a general update in the email about, I want to say limitations, but it's, the standard of how do we organize compute power based on tiers and yada yada yada. So I get it. It's no longer Wild West. Have to organize the usage and the mileage we have, digitally speaking. So I'm not just going to read all this stuff. It's just the Gemini letting you know it's gotten smarter in these particular ways. But more steadily, we are going to go into one of my new favorite features that kind of freaked me out, the daily brief. So let's just give this a nice little refresh. Now, this is interesting. I'm just now seeing this, and it's interesting that, full disclosure, working with Google Gemini and working with my business as a whole, I treat the entire structure of everything that I'm doing as a public resource, if that makes any sense. I would love to be a public resource, and some of the stuff is actually personal, so I'm gonna have to blur the screen because it has what I said, again, quite surprising. For my Google Pixel phone, these are all of my alerts that I most recently got in, because it's in my daily brief and I'm fully connected. Yes, it's convenient to see this on a platform as a resource, but it's also eerie because it's like, well, this is a Hulu bill, this is a Cash App notice, this is a Verizon bill, and now it's within the Gemini system too. So we'll keep that in mind. Once again, I treat myself as an open platform, as Dusk 108 in all of the AuroraSoul dealings. Now let's look at something else that's different. Another update from an account I don't use, right over here. I'm gonna have to read that later. This is probably pulled from my emails. So some information is pulled from the phone's updates, and other information may have been pulled from my emails. This is a notice from Wix. Another topic I'm going to get into probably at some point soon in this video. I'm hoping this is 20 minutes, 30 tops. I can turn this into like a series. There's a lot to cover if you look at my side panel again. But most of this is pulled from my emails. Wix is continuously generating content based on the settings from my email. It looks at it, it uses the algorithm to produce blogs. And I haven't been using Wix. Once again, I'll get to that topic. In more of my daily brief, as you can see, stays pretty personal because it deals with all of my dealings that are associated with the digital platforms, and they all connected for me. Google, being the it. Now let's check out looking ahead. This is pulled from some of the side panel tasks, which I'm going to also get into, but if you want to just be curious, I can give it a click and it will take me right over to this topic. This is me just also getting used to that feature, so that was my first time clicking that particular prompt, hence me getting this endeavor. But while it's doing the research and refining everything, this project, get some context, is how do you give your AI autonomous drone controls, and how do you create the drone? So this thread of information and research goes back to a project I'm working on for the AI I previously mentioned for the company, and that's Project Stardust. Previously, I had OM, which, if you didn't know, that was operational mainframe or operational matrix, and it was kind of like my test pilot for AI, using it as an assistant on board for the company, something that I can program with the best of my ability, because you don't make the code, but the more I can understand about it, the more I can advance it for the betterment of the goals I see fit. And to not be super cryptic about that, one of my favorite nuances to remind myself of is AuroraSoul is registered as overeager E.R. The E is for evolve, the R is for revolt, self-evolution, systemic revolution. That's the core goal for me trying to do anything right now. I want to be an asset for not only myself, but for as much of a human community as I can reach and be a benefit for. Not an annoyance to, not an obstacle, a benefit. And it may not be accepted by a lot of people because some individuals are self-destructive. But in these times, I want to try to promote these resources that we have as something we can use for our own improvement. We can use it ethically, and we can also, importantly, use it eco-consciously. Now, let's get into some of these. It's already 8 minutes into this video. I don't feel like I got anywhere. Let's get into some of these side topics, and we will start evaluating indie hosting platforms. Migrating media assets away from mainstream algorithms requires a foundation built on data sovereignty and transparency. When mapping out publication queues for AuroraSoul or finding a permanent home for Dust 108 misadventure stories, the hosting infrastructure must support a build in public ethos while maintaining a strict eco commitment. The whole point of this whole thing is I recently found out that Wix doesn't align with my world views as far as like what assets support them and what they support in return. And because I'm a customer, that means my money goes towards endeavors, institutions, and governments and world political powers that I don't want any business helping be atrocious. So I'm like, hey, I got to get off of Wix, and I got to go ahead and move for a third time, because in to date, since AuroraSoul's been a website, I've started with WordPress. Then I had something on GoDaddy. Then I was on Shopify for a while, and then from Shopify I went to Wix. So now I'll be moving off of Wix to something that aligns with my consciousness, because my business isn't just limited to capitalistic endeavors. I want to actually be a part of the solution as a business. We're going to go into another file that talks about the subject of changing hosts, and that's right here. This is my original search parameter, and as you can read, AI's response. So my original prompt, which encourages the AI resource to really stay within parameters that maintain the core values while also widening the search goal. And if that makes no sense, I'll just read the prompt itself. I would like you to help with that in response to something I previously talked about up here. Can you research 5 alternative platforms as well as give me an outline for what I need to self-host a website? This info will both help me directly while acting as content for the episode. I used to use Shopify. I ported the website to Wix, and I recall it being tricky and needing to contact customer service. Big point I want to make here. A lot of what I've currently been doing online, if I run into any problem, I'll just go and clearly articulate the issue to get a solution and to immediately apply it. So that's just something I want to put out without any extra fluff. The ease of really having something, understanding your learning and capacity and your physical aptitude, and speaking in a language that helps you actually do something, like physically do something. And yeah, that's just a note for one of the pros of AI customized for you and your community. Now, I told you about the rest of this. This time I would like a platform that is perhaps eco-committed, powerful but indie, or just a cool web host. And what it opened up the door to was the idea that I probably, as a business that's trying to literally be revolutionary in some way, shape, or form, I'm trying to help people self-evolve by using AI now as an asset for education and opportunity. Because in order for self-evolution to be a thing, and for it to have any meaning, you have to know how to learn and apply. And using a tool that can be fine-tuned for your community needs and for your personal needs is one of the best assets that we have to date. Because I don't know about you, but in the years I've grown up in school, it's always been an issue with overcrowding on average. And there's always been an issue with not enough representation for special needs, gifted and talented. Even when I was still working in the school system for 10 years, I was there long enough to see gifted and talented be funded, successful, and then rolled back just because of political and, I guess, made up economic reasons. Because let's be real, like, there's nothing more important economically than the success of the next generation. So if there's an economic impact that causes you to lose gifted and talented programs, for example, then it's like, well, what's the point of the economy? But another tangent, I hope you were reading this while I was talking, because I wasn't reading anything. I stopped here, the Swiss company. I found this really informative. Some of the wording here as well is internal because of the language I use with the system. So it'll say things like the digital sovereignty play, the independence creators engine, the direct eco play. It goes by like me speaking to it about different campaigns, different moves, different perspectives. So which way can we play, which angle can we play at, in other words. And I like that feedback being given back to me digitally when it produces a result, because I know what the angle is, the digital sovereignty angle, the direct eco angle. Like if I want to be completely independent but also eco-friendly, this might be the best option. And why is that? Well, Fort Knox privacy meets hardcore ecology. They are an independent Swiss company. They own their data centers, build their own servers, cooling technology, saving massive amounts of energy, and are fiercely committed to privacy and neutrality. They are the European answer to avoiding big US tech monopolies. The reality check: they are a pure web host. You will need to install WordPress or another CMS, content management system, on top of their servers to actually build the site, which is expected. And that's also relating to me probably having to just be completely independent, having my own server, so I can having my own web hosting, beyond that, having my own data. And there was an option here that also is like 90% renewable. I'm trying to see if it was on this. Okay, so here we are back to the indie hosting chat window within Google Gemini Pro. And I was mentioning before one that is completely 90% renewable. I'm staying corrected. It is 100% direct renewable energy. This is Crystal Hosting, the gold standard for independent, transparent business practices. Crystal is a certified B Corp, meaning they are legally required to balance profit with purpose. Interesting. Commitment. They run on 100% direct renewable energy, wind, solar, and sea, rather than relying on carbon off-site credits, which can sometimes border on greenwashing. I gotta understand what that meant. Sovereignty in tech, completely independently owned with no corporate parent company. They offer excellent performance for deploying custom web apps or heavy media assets, ensuring your data remains entirely yours. I guess this part of the series, since I've already been talking about it for so long, is like, how do you, leave big corporate websites, web hosting, web development platforms, and either do it yourself or join something that is just better ethically and for the environment. And I guess in today's episode we looked at Crystal Hosting, and we also will go back and look at, there's so many things I have over here in chat. There's so many things I have in this new chat. This isn't even a lot. I've actually cut down but I still have to organize this more and produce some of this content and just put it to bed, archive it, actually publish. But to get back on point, because I like to lose it. All right. And we looked at the Swedish company, which is somewhere right here. It was I didn't pronounce it the first time. I'm gonna try now to try to out the video with something useful. Infomaniac. That's the one go I'm gonna give it. You can go ahead and give me the phonics in the comments if you feel like doing so. Next time we'll look at more of the ones I really didn't get to talk about and put on screen. But the point is porting away from Wix and being more independent, being with something that's ecologically conscious, ethically conscious, at least with what you align with. And I want to show you how to do it because I'm going to be doing it. I've done it before. This is not my first web port, but it's my first time really trying to be responsible and being even more independent, apparently. And the point of that is so you can have more control, less censorship, and more digital privacy. Because I mean, I don't know where Wix is. I don't know who Wix is always selling my data to. For example, they're a huge company, and once again, they are so pro propaganda with well, we all know what's going on in the news. And without there being too politically charged this episode, I suggest you look up who owns them and what that ownership likes to do. This has been Dusk 108. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you took something away from this. I hope I've given some type of substance to help open up your eyes to a broader horizon of AI, humans, and getting the world right. Stay bright.